Every MCU film is fantastic, but some are more liked by the general viewing audience than others are. I have had conversations with family and friends, and normally we come to a consensus on what the best films are. But every time I bring up Age of Ultron, people seem to either dislike it or just think it's meh. Personally, I disagree heavily with this. It is in my top 10 favorites, and is one of the best MCU films for character growth in my opinion. I thought I would compile all my thoughts on Age of Ultron into a video, and try to explain why I love it so much and why I think it is so underrated. I've had loads of conversation with people about it, and I've never really been able to sum up all my thoughts on it, so that's what I want to try to do in this video here. So, without further ado, let's get to it! First off, let's talk about my opinions on the things people don't like about Age of Ultron. First off, a complaint people have is unnecessary quips and banner and action scenes. I personally have no issue with this, and I actually really like it. I can understand why people have this issue, but for me, it works. That's the team dynamic. It's fun banter between them, especially in the first fight scene in the film. This is a great way to show the audience where the characters' relationships are at that moment, and establish connections. I understand that people may think this is a bit too much in certain scenes, but for me, it all works great, and is another way the MCU shows off character and character relationships. The only other main thing I see people complain about is Ultron as a villain. Mainly him being too Tony Stark-ish, if that makes sense, and not being threatening enough. This I completely disagree with. For one, it makes sense that he would take on traits of Tony. He's an AI that learns from its surroundings, and who built him, and thus Ultron was around for a massive amount of time, and to some extent has the mind of Tony. The non-threatening thing I can understand, especially comparing this version to how he was in the comics. If you're directly comparing this version to the comics version, then yeah, he's a fairly weak villain. But if you take the film Ultron on their own merit, I think they are a fantastic villain. Personally, I think Ultron is one of the best MCU villains. We'll get into why in a minute. Now, let's get into my general thoughts on the plot of this film. Overall, this film was fantastic plot-wise. The main point I always cite as why I love this film so much is it firmly shows us what the Avengers are all about. Their virtues, their weaknesses, and everything in between. Nothing represents this dynamic better than the villain himself, Ultron. This is a villain who was literally created by two of our heroes. The reason I think Ultron is one of the best MCU villains is because he causes massive change in almost all of our heroes, directly or indirectly. He led to big character shifts in most of the main heroes. The story of this film as a whole is really about change in the Avengers. This film also shows us how the Avengers are viewed by the world, in a way that no other The Avengers film has. Civil War came close, but in my opinion, this film does a lot of a better job. We see these stories from the Avengers' perspectives, so getting to see the events of the films from a new perspective adds a lot of depth to these moments, and in a way, makes them more impactful. The story weaves in subtle hints to the future, some of which may be unintentional, but even if they were unintentional, it's cool to see them in hindsight. This film needed to juggle a lot of things. Development of all its main characters, introducing 4 of the most influential Marvel characters in the same film, introducing arguably the second most popular Avengers villain, setting up the future, and living up to the bar of the first Avengers film. Overall, I think this film did a fantastic job on all of those things. So, yeah, I'd love to hear what all of your thoughts on Avengers Age of Ultron are. This wasn't meant to be a persuasive video trying to get you guys to go to my side or anything like that. That wasn't my intention. I'm just kind of compiling all my thoughts and opinions into one little video because I thought you guys would be interested in hearing my take on it. And yeah, like I said, let me know what you think in the comments. But just remember, we want to keep this a fun and respectful place. So just fun conversations here and just friendly talking about opinions, alright? So yeah, if you liked the video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel to see even more content by me. And if you want to see even more content by me, then feel free to follow me on my Instagram and Twitter pages, which are both at Ninja Family Entertainment. Thank you all so much for watching, and have a great day. Bye, guys.